From London, England, where the Queen lives.
Recorded live from an underground bunker and packaged into an MP3 with a pretty little picture. Helping to kickstart your day with the motivation and inspiration you need
365 days a year.
This is the Learn, Develop, Live podcast. And this is your host, Chris Jaggs.
Good morning! Welcome to the Learn, Develop, Live podcast. My name is Chris Jaggs and I'm your host, producer, director, CEO of the show and the creator of the Learn, Develop, Live method. Identify your issue, develop a habit to tackle your issue for 30 days and live your life on a higher level. Who doesn't want to do that? So how are you doing today? I hope you had a good weekend and you're ready for a brand new week. Think of the possibilities. Think of what could happen. You just gotta get after it. Come on. If I can attempt to sing, you can get after your big plan. To help you and that plan of yours, or if you want to try and smash that problem or issue you've been having, the one that niggles away at you, you can jump on my calendar at ldlcall.com. Find your slot, book it, and let's talk. Hey, why not do it now? There is no time like the present, is there? Is there really? It'll be just like this podcast. A chat between us, ideas going back and forth, or I can just be that ear that will listen to you chat away. However I can help, I'm here. Let's now give a thank you or two for a couple podcast reviews this week, and we have from Matt P 1996. Love the format of the podcast, and for it to be as motivational as it is. It's just what I need. Big recommendations. And I'm sending a big thank you back to Matt. Now, from the UK podcast fan, love a short podcast, short and sweet, love the quote and couldn't agree more. Sunsets are proof that endings can be beautiful. Yes, they can. Again, massive thank you to you. Much love to both of you for the reviews. Each review will allow more incredible people like you to find the podcast. If you want to drop me a review, please do. Send it over. Thank you. Okay, so reviews are done. Let's have a very quick drop and get into the episode.
Motivation, inspiration, but no constipation. This is the Learn, Develop, Live podcast.
And we are back in the room. Welcome back. As the title of the episode says, or as it asks, whatever it is, what can you learn from a happy dog? Now you may ask yourself, why is this guy, the motivational one who's meant to be motivating me and getting me inspired, talking about dogs? And if you are one of those people, maybe you just need to think a little bit about the title and then think about when you last saw a dog. And I'm sure, more than likely, that pooch, if it was out for walkies, was quite happy. Walking down the road, a little bit of a bounce to the step, like a nice happy horse trotting along. Tongue hanging out, tail in full flow, and just giving the look of happiness. And why wouldn't they? It's walkies. Dogs are man's and woman's best friend. And what are friends for if it's to not give us a little bit of advice every so often? Dogs are smarter than they seem, and it's time we listen to their woofs of wisdom. You see what I did there? Woofs? Yeah. Anyway, question. Does any being on this earth love life as much as a dog? Whether they're jumping around in fresh snow or rolling over for a belly rub, our canine companions tend to savour each moment life gives. And why wouldn't they? So if we paid more attention, we'd realise dogs are basically spiritual gurus who can guide us on the path to enlightenment. If you want to live life like your pup, and really, again, who wouldn't want to live like a dog? What are the best life lessons you can learn from them? Believe it or not, dogs actually understand the world better than humans. Maybe the lack of verbal communication might be working to their advantage, because somehow the canine population has a much better grasp on how to achieve complete happiness, more so than any human I've ever met. We analyse, we obsess, we complain, we live in that destructive circle following every interaction. We also doubt our own potential, and we constantly let fear get in the way. Just think, how many things may you have done if you didn't have any fear? Dogs don't have time or interest in any of it. So why do we? Why do people, the human race, have to make things so complicated and just cause unnecessary stress and often pain? Dogs live in the moment and they love harder than any other species. Think of that unconditional love. Sure, alright, they don't have jobs, they don't make money, or they don't have the ability to live 80 plus years. So there are obviously some aspects of life that dogs cannot understand. However, the way they live in their short time on this planet is truly a beautiful practice with incredible enthusiasm. There are lots of lessons that we can learn from dogs, and when it comes to being happy, here are a few things, when you really think about them, our canine friends, they really just have life sussed out. Being mindful. As humans, we tend to have many complex thoughts rattling around in our minds at all times. What are we going to have for dinner? What did my partner mean when they said that? Why hasn't my boss responded to the email? Pretty soon, we've worked ourselves up into a frenzy and we don't notice the world around us. Dogs, meanwhile, they live in the moment. Oh, I'm walking with my wonderful human. Woohoo! That's what they could be thinking. Oh, I've found a new stick. Look, grass. Grass is so beautiful. Oh, squirrel. Dogs are true masters in the art of mindfulness, and they can inspire us to just fully take each moment as well. Expressing gratitude. Being happy comes down to focusing on what we have rather than what you don't. But for humans, that's easier said than done. That's because we're programmed to take the good for granted and just boil over the bad instead. But not dogs. Every time you feed a dog, they react as if it's the first time they've ever seen food. Every time you grab the leash to take them out for a walk, they zoom back and forth in a flurry of excitement. And every time you walk in the door, even if you just went to take the rubbish out, they are bursting with joy. Dogs remind us that even though something may be routine, we should always take time to appreciate, and that's a part of our lives. Leaving the past in the past. How many times have I said this? One of the most heartwarming things about a dog is, no matter how much suffering or abuse they've gone through, they can be rehabilitated with a little bit of love and a lot of care. Dogs aren't bitter or angry about what's come before. To pups, today is a good day, and that's all that counts. As one owner wrote about their pit bull who was rendered blind after a hit and run, dogs can be put through horrible things, but they can still bounce back and live a happy life. It's that ability to leave the past in the past that makes dogs so amazing. Completely agree. How about the ability to just love unconditionally? I think this is the thing that pops into my head first when I think about dogs. As soon as you get a dog, you have a newfound understanding of what unconditional love is. Dogs love without expecting anything in return, and shouldn't we all do more of that? It's not about who loves you more or who does what for that. It's just love, for love's sake. And it's so freeing. What about focusing on the positive? How many of you have trouble with this one? When your head's in the clouds and you find yourself feeling sad about something you can't quite put your finger on. And then suddenly your dog rolls over and gives you that look and says, how can you be so upset when there's a belly rub for the taking right in front of you? Dogs are always there to remind us to focus on the positive, even if it's just something small that brings us joy. After all, how could things be so bad when the moment feels so good? Here's one for everyone. Be open to adventure. Humans hesitate whenever they're forced to do something with uncertain variables or unknown outcomes. Bags of nerves, aren't we? Dogs in our hands, simply open your car door and Fido will bolt out into the back of the seat. Sure, sometimes those car rides, they might end up going to the vet, but there's always a chance they could lead to playtime in the park. And that's what makes the adventure worthwhile. When are you going to start your Learn Do It Live journey with me? Now, what about the exercise? Yes, more walkies for all of us. Your dog might be on something all these walks. They're begging to take them. According to the Mayo Clinic, adding walking to your everyday routine can actually help prevent heart disease, improve your mood, and maintain a trim waistline. Dogs know the good value of a good nap. When they aren't playing or eating, they're sleeping. we really need to take after him on this one. The human, when it comes to working, we can be overworked, sleepy zombies sucking down caffeine as quickly as we can pour it, because otherwise we'd fall asleep in all sorts of places. Dogs, they just lay down, shut their eyes the moment they feel a little bit worn out. Oh dogs, we envy you, especially when you have a toddler who runs on solar power, but that's just me. Our last one, family doesn't have to be blood. This is a big one, and it reminds me of all the videos and all the photos of dogs snuggled up in bed with their little human best friend. Dogs understand better than any human that sometimes family isn't our blood relatives. It's the people in our lives we've chosen to be around. Our dogs might not be related to us by blood, but you'd never know it based on how they love us, and vice versa. They just become your family. At the end of the day, we can't all be dogs, but not everyone wants to be a dog, do they? But look, how much can you take from them? The boundless energy and the joy that a dog can bring to your life, you might end up finding that with a little bit of effort, you could even appreciate someone throwing a ball across the field for you too. So how about you? Would you like to find your inner dog? Get on my calendar at ldlcall.com, book your slot, and we can wag our tails together. Let's see what we can do to end that issue you've got right now. Okay, wrapping this one up. Keep going, people, with your dreams and your big plans. Tell me what your plans do. Remember, ldlcall.com. I'm waiting for you. But for now, stay safe, and I will see you in the next one.
Goodbye.
What? It's over already?
All over.
Thank you for listening to the Learn, Develop, Live podcast. I hope you feel as warm, motivated, and fuzzy inside as I do. You can connect with Chris at learndeveloplive.com or on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
I won't say goodbye. I'll just say until we meet again.
Until next time, join the motivation. Motivation.